Good afternoon for the 8th time this PRL season, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to Baku for the Azerbaijan Grand Prix. That was our best lap in qualifying, not quite our PB. Our PB would have put us on the front row. Unfortunately couldn't match it, but safe P3 is absolutely fine behind my two championship rivals. Talking of them, Maznat, about to complete his run, comes under the bridge and is destroyed. Presumably ran into the back of Nemo's Force India there, so a very strange end to qualifying. From my perspective at least, that may have been lag for all I know. Either way, Maznat with a dominating pole, and Dregler in P2. Those two guys chasing me down in the championship. So far this season, I've always managed to at least beat one of them, so that's of course going to be my goal, again this race. So off the start, we were pretty safe. Thankfully the car on my inside doesn't hit me. That was HSV diving up the inside of Cart Dude, I believe. I'm all over the back of the Williams. I could make a move into turn 3. You can see I'm well in his slipstream. Go to the outside though, he does defend, and it becomes too risky to make a maneuver. Again here, I was close enough to make a dive. That's not the sort of driver I am. I'm more patient, and we'll see what happens. Towards the end of the race, I knew they were going to get away from me if I didn't try and pass them, so I just hoped that one of them might have an issue. Nemo retired early on, unfortunately for him, but now you see the problem. Dregler has the connection bars above his name, and that was a worry for me, especially with the experience I had at Canada and HRL, where the car in front of me started lagging and took my front right wheel off. So that's not what we're after here. We want some points, even for third if that's the case. And indeed, Dregler peels off into the pit lane at the end of lap 8, covering him off, obviously as you would, Maznat, the next lap.
The pit window is open.
So I took the lead, only briefly though, for one lap. I went further just in case they came out in traffic, which would have been nice. They didn't. It was a 9-second gap to Dregler. It went up as he got away. Then it started coming down. I found out later that he'd actually hit the back of Maznat, so he had damage, and all of a sudden, with about 4.5 laps left, I was all over the Williams driver once again. And I got a bit too close from my own good here. Thankfully, I didn't damage my wing. There's obviously nowhere through this portion of the track, so I started braking early. Bit of a cheeky corner cut there from Dregs, but that won't really matter. What will matter though is whether he can take these final two sweepers full throttle with that damage, and I doubted he could. Let's see what he does here. Yeah, we're catching up already, and I don't think he could take that flat. If he could, it was very close, and we're already past before we activate the DRS. So an easy pass once we actually managed to be within that DRS.
Okay, gap to leader, 9.3 seconds.
And that gap is unattainable, and I'm not going to even try and catch Maznat at this point, especially when he's capable of that on the penultimate lap. Indeed, he actually would go on to beat it on the final lap in some Vettel-like performance, as you can see right there. So he wins the race, dominating fashion, obviously. I'm glad that I could at least take second place, and across the line we come, minimising the damage to Maznat, just 7 points lost to him, gaining on Dregler, always an important thing to do. We know how dangerous he can be from seasons past. Now we see the other Sauber here, Danny coming home to finish in P4. A fantastic effort from her. She's had a lot of bad luck this season. I think only in Bahrain and here not being hit or incurring some form of lag or even a grid drop for no reason in China. That was very interesting. 12 points there for Sauber, very important. We do lose a few points to Red Bull here with Wayno picking up P6, but we still have a good 26-point championship lead in the Constructors. So there you have it. Another podium. We'll roll on to Austria next week, where it might be a bit more challenging. I've been Jacko. See you then.